Game is brought to you by our amazing sponsors and viewers like you on Patreon. When you use the links in the description, you're helping us keep the channel going, so thank you. Patrons get access to monthly update videos, early video releases, and higher tiers even get exclusive behind-the-scenes content and commentary. Sign up today and join the crew. And of course, don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps us out. Now, let's start out by showcasing our fighters this evening. First, we have Ryan, piloting Tivit, Seller of Secrets. This is a control deck that uses its commander to generate mana and card advantage before taking infinite turns with Time Sieve. Next, we have Micah, piloting Plagon, Lord of the Beach. This is a mid-range deck that wins by making infinite mana with Hullbreaker Horror and drawing infinite cards with Plagon. After that, we have Corey, piloting the partner pair of Tymna the Weaver and Thrasios, Triton Hero. This is also a mid-range deck that draws a lot of cards with its commanders and wins with various infinite mana combos. Finally, we have Sasha, piloting the partner pair of Rograkh, Son of Rograkh, and Silas, Seeker Adept. This is a combo deck that tries to cast ad nauseum as quickly as possible to draw into Thassa's Oracle or Underworld Breach combos. Before we get into tonight's game, I wanted to talk about the sponsor for this video, Card Conduit. Card Conduit is a service that takes the hassle out of trying to offload your extra cards. They provide top buy list value for your cards without all the extra effort of traditional buy listing. The service is quick and easy. Simply send them your unsorted cards, and then Card Conduit will sort, grade, and find the best buy list price for each of your cards. They are fully transparent, giving you a detailed report of exactly what you sent and what they are paying you for each card. You can also see exactly what you'll get for your cards ahead of time by going to their price check tool on their website. Their fees are reasonable and their customer service is fantastic. They process quickly and submit their payments super fast. I personally used Card Conduit twice before they ever became a sponsor. They were amazing, guiding me through the process and clarifying any questions or hesitations that I had. I got a fair price for my cards, and they literally saved me dozens of hours in the process. If you sign up with my link in the description below or use the promo code POWER, you will also get 10% off of their fees when you use their service. So give Card Conduit a try today. I will be using them for all of my extra cards from now on, and I recommend that you do the same. Without further ado, let's kick off this delicious Divine Dastardly duel. Ryan wins the 10-meter dash and gets to start us off. Ryan draws a card for turn, plays a Scalding Tarn, and passes. Micah draws and plays a Windswept Teeth. He casts a Lotus Petal. He cracks Windswept Teeth, pays a life, and fetches up a Tundra onto the battlefield. He casts an Esper Sentinel and passes the turn. Corey draws and plays a Polluted Delta. He cracks it, pays a life, and fetches up a Scrubland onto the battlefield. He ends his turn. Sasha draws and plays a Marsh Flats. She casts her commander, Rograkh, Son of Rograkh. She casts Mox Amber. Esper Sentinel triggers, and in response, Sasha cracks her Marsh Flats, pays a life, and fetches up an Underground Sea onto the battlefield. She then pays for Esper. She casts a Mox Opal. She passes to Ryan. At the end of Sasha's turn, Ryan cracks his Scalding Tarn, pays a life, and fetches up a Meticulous Archive onto the battlefield. He surveils one, leaving it on top, and moves to his turn. Ryan draws and plays a Morphic Pool. He casts Stormscape Familiar. He gives the turn to Micah. Micah draws and plays an Urza Saga, getting its first counter. He casts his commander, Plagon, Lord of the Beach. Plagon enters, and Micah draws a card. He ships the turn. Corey draws and plays an Ancient Tomb. He taps it to help cast Drannith Magistrate. The table sighs, and Corey passes to Sasha. Sasha draws and plays a Badlands. She casts Arcane Signet, paying for Esper. She ends her turn. During its upkeep, Ryan casts Vampiric Tutor, letting Micah draw through Esper. He fetches up a card onto the top of his library and loses 2 life. He draws and plays an Ancient Tomb. He taps it to help cast Rhystic Study. He moves to combat and attacks Sasha with Stormscape Familiar. Sasha takes it, and Ryan passes. Micah draws, and in his first main phase, Urza Saga gets another counter. He plays a Polluted Delta for turn. He moves to combat and attacks Sasha with Esper Sentinel. Sasha takes it, and Micah ends his turn. During its upkeep, Corey casts Vampiric Tutor. Rhystic and Esper trigger, and Micah and Ryan draw. In response, Sasha casts Flare of Duplication, sacrificing Rograkh as an additional cost, targeting Vampiric Tutor. Rhystic and Esper trigger, and Sasha pays for both. Flare resolves, copying Vampiric Tutor. With the Tutor on the stack, Micah casts Flusterstorm with 1 copy on Sasha's Tutor and 2 on Corey's. Rhystic triggers, and Micah taps Ancient Tomb to pay. Flusterstorm resolves, counters Sasha's Tutor, and Corey taps Ancient Tomb to pay. Then Corey's Vampiric Tutor resolves, and he fetches up a card onto the top of his library and loses 2 life. He draws and plays a Breeding Pool into play tapped. Out of mana, he ships the turn to Sasha. Sasha draws, plays a Wooded Foothills, and passes. Ryan draws and casts Blind Obedience. He gives the turn to Micah. At the end of Ryan's turn, Micah cracks Polluted Delta. He pays a life and fetches up a Meticulous Archive onto the battlefield. He surveils, putting Gemstone Caverns into his graveyard. Micah draws, and in his first main phase, Urza Saga triggers. He floats mana and sacrifices it, fetching up a Shield Sphere onto the battlefield. He plays Otawara, Soaring City as his land for turn. He casts Witch Enchanter. Knowing what that's going to target, Ryan responds by casting Force at Will, paying a life and exiling a blue card targeting Witch Enchanter. Esper triggers and Ryan pays. In response, Micah casts Fierce Guardianship for its alternate cost targeting Force and letting Ryan draw through Rhystic. Fierce counters Force and Witch Enchanter resolves. It enters tap through Blind Obedience, triggers, and destroys Ryan's Rhystic Study. Micah moves to combat and attacks Sasha with Esper. She takes the hit and Micah ships the turn. Corey draws and taps Ancient Tomb to help cast his own Rhystic Study. Esper triggers and Corey pays. In response, Sasha cracks Bloodstained Mire, pays a life, and fetches up a Raucous Theater onto the battlefield. She surveils, putting Fierce Guardianship into her graveyard. Still in response, Micah casts Force of Negation, exiling a blue card targeting Rhystic. In response, Corey casts Pact of Negation targeting Force. Pact counters Force, and Rhystic resolves. Corey plays Ottawara Soaring City as his land for turn. He passes. Sasha draws, takes no actions, and ends her turn. Ryan draws and taps Ancient Tomb to help cast Talisman of Dominance. Esper and Rhystic trigger, and in response, Sasha flashes in and Orcish Bowmasters, letting Corey draw through Rhystic. Bowmasters enters, kills Esper Sentinel, and Sasha unmasses Orcs 1. Esper and Rhystic triggers resolve, and both players draw. Bowmasters triggers twice, kills Witch Enchanter, and Sasha unmasses 2. Then Talisman resolves, and Ryan gives the turn to Micah. Micah draws and plays an island. He casts Thassa's Oracle, paying for Rhystic. Oracle enters, triggers, and the table braces for impact. Then Micah looks at the top 3 cards of a library and then puts them on bottom. After spiking everyone's blood pressure, Micah ships the turn. During his upkeep, Corey taps his Ancient Tomb to help pay for his Pact of Negation. He draws, takes no actions, and passes. Sasha draws and plays an Ancient Tomb. She moves to combat and attacks Ryan with her Orc army. Ryan takes the hit, and Sasha ends her turn. Ryan draws and casts Mystic Remora. In response, Micah casts Ephemerate, targeting Plagon. Rhystic triggers and Corey draws. Bowmasters triggers, kills Stormscape Familiar, and Sasha amasses. Ephemerate flickers Plagon, and Micah draws 3. Bowmasters triggers 3 times, kills Plagon, and Sasha amasses 3. Mystic Remora resolves, and Ryan passes the turn. During Micah's upkeep, Ephemerate triggers, but Micah cannot cast it due to Drannith Magistrate. He draws and casts Mana Ball. Rhystic and Mystic trigger, Ryan draws, and Micah pays for Rhystic. Bowmasters triggers, pings Corey, and Sasha amasses. Micah casts Mox Amber, paying for Rhystic, and letting Ryan draw through Mystic. Bowmasters triggers, pings Corey, and Sasha amasses again. Micah ships the turn. Corey draws and casts his commander, Thrasios, Triton Hero. He gives the turn to Sasha. Sasha draws and moves to combat. She attacks Ryan with her army. Ryan takes it, and Sasha passes the turn. During his upkeep, Ryan pays to keep his Remora. He draws, takes no game actions, and ships the turn. At the end of Ryan's turn, Micah casts Swords to Plowshares, targeting Drannith Magistrate. Mystic and Rhystic trigger, and Micah lets both players draw. Bowmasters triggers twice, pings Thoracle, and Sasha amasses 2. Swords exiles Drannith, and Corey gains a life. Ryan discards the hand size, and the turn moves to Micah. During his draw step, Micah takes a damage through his Mana Ball. In his main phase, he casts Mystic Remora. Mystic and Rhystic trigger, and Ryan and Corey draw. Bowmasters triggers twice, pings Thoracle, and Sasha amasses 2. Micah ends his turn. Corey draws and plays a City of Brass. He taps it and Ancient Tomb to help cast Ranger Captain of Eos. Ranger triggers, and in response, Ryan taps Ancient Tomb to help flash in an Opposition Agent, letting Corey draw through Rhystic. Bowmasters triggers, pings Corey, and Sasha amasses. Opposition Agent resolves, then Ranger Captain's ability resolves, and Corey declines to search. He casts Mystic Remora. Both Mystics trigger, Ryan and Micah draw, Bowmasters triggers twice, pings Corey twice, and Sasha amasses 2. Corey passes to Sasha. Sasha draws and sighs that she is free from the clutches of Drannith Magistrate. She taps Ancient Tomb to recast her commander, Rograkh, letting Corey draw through Rhystic. Bowmasters triggers, pings Ryan, and Sasha amasses. She casts her other commander, Silas Wren, Seeker Adept, letting Corey draw again. Bowmasters triggers, pings Corey, and she amasses again. She moves to combat and attacks Corey with the army. He chump blocks with Thrasios, and Sasha ends her turn. During his upkeep, Ryan lets his Remora die. He draws and plays a City of Brass. He taps it and Ancient Tomb to help cast his commander, Tivit, Seller of Secrets. Rhystic triggers, Corey draws, Bowmasters triggers, pings Corey, and Sasha amasses. Tivit enters and triggers. Ryan creates 2 treasures and 3 clues. He casts Lotus Petal, not paying for Rhystic or the Mystics. Micah draws and Corey declines. Bowmasters triggers, pings Ranger Captain, and Sasha amasses. Ryan gives the turn to Micah. At the end of Ryan's turn, Micah flashes in, an Archivist of Ogma, paying for Rhystic. During his upkeep, Micah pays to keep his Remora. During his draw step, he takes a damage through his Mana Ball. In his main phase, he plays an Ancient Tomb for turn. He taps it to help recast Plagon. Rhystic triggers and Corey draws. Bowmasters triggers, pings Ranger Captain, and Sasha amasses. Plagon enters and triggers, and Micah draws 3 cards. Bowmasters triggers 3 more times, targeting Ranger Captain, Corey, and Micah. In response, Corey sacrifices Ranger Captain, locking out opponents from non-creature spells this turn. Bowmasters trigger fizzles, and the others resolve. Sasha pings Corey and Micah, and Sasha amasses 2. Micah passes the turn. During his upkeep, Corey lets his Remora die. He draws and plays a command tower. He casts Tainted Pact. Mystic triggers and Micah draws. Bowmasters triggers, pings Ryan, and Sasha amasses. In response, Sasha casts Flusterstorm with all copies targeting Tainted Pact. Micah draws again through Remora, and Bowmasters triggers, pings Corey, and Sasha amasses again. Flusterstorm resolves and Corey taps Ancient Tomb to pay. Still in response, Ryan casts Silence. Rhystic and Mystic trigger, both players draw, Bowmasters triggers twice, pings Ryan twice, and Sasha amasses 2. In response, Corey exiles Elvish Spirit Guide from his hand, adding a green. He casts Veil of Summer, and Micah draws 2 again. Veil resolves and Corey draws. Bowmasters triggers, pings Ryan, and Sasha amasses. Still in response to Silence, Corey casts Flusterstorm with all copies targeting Silence. Remora triggers and Micah draws a card. Bowmasters triggers, pings Ryan, and Sasha amasses again. In response, Ryan casts Mindbreak Trap for its alternate cost, targeting all Flusterstorm copies and Tainted Pact. Micah and Corey each draw through Mystic and Rhystic. Bowmasters pings Micah twice, and Sasha amasses 2. With no other answers, Mindbreak Trap exiles Flusterstorm and Tainted Pact, then Silence resolves, locking out opponents from spells this turn. Unable to cast any spells, Corey passes, discarding to hand size. Sasha draws and casts her own Mystic Remora, because the draw engines really weren't a huge problem this game already. Mystic and Rhystic trigger, Corey and Micah draw, Bowmasters pings Micah twice, and Sasha amasses 2. Mystic resolves, and Sasha moves to combat. She attacks Micah with the army and Silas. Micah blocks the army with Archivist of Ogma, and then he takes the rest. Sasha gives the turn to Ryan. Ryan draws and plays a Watery Grave, and to play untapped, paying 2 life. He moves to combat and attacks Sasha with Tivit. Sasha takes it, Tivit triggers, and Ryan creates 2 treasures and 3 clues. In his main phase, Ryan casts Transmute Artifact, letting Corey, Micah, and Sasha draw all through all of their nonsense. Bowmasters triggers twice, pings Ryan, and Sasha amasses 2. Transmute resolves, Ryan sacrifices his Talisman, and fetches up a Time Sieve onto the battlefield. He activates it, sacrificing 5 clues. This is game over, so Micah bargains with Sasha. He has an answer, but cannot get past Tivit's ward cost. He needs her help in order to save the table. She agrees, so in response, Micah casts Retraction Helix, targeting Sasha's Rograkh. Mystic and Rhystic trigger, and Corey and Sasha draw. Bowmasters triggers, pings Ryan, and Sasha amasses. With no answers, Helix resolves. Still in response to Time Sieve's activation, Sasha activates Rograkh, targeting Tivit. Tivit's ward triggers, and she taps Ancient Tomb to help pay for it. With no answers, Tivit is bounced, then Time Sieve resolves, and Ryan gets an extra turn. He recasts his commander, Tivit, tapping City of Brass to pay for Rhystic. In response, Micah casts Flare of Denial, sacrificing Thassa's Oracle, targeting Tivit. Sasha and Corey each draw, Bowmasters pings Ryan, and Sasha amasses. Flare counters Tivit, and Ryan passes. At the end of Ryan's turn, Corey taps the City of Brass to help cast Abrupt Decay, targeting Plagon, letting Sasha and Micah draw. Bowmasters triggers, pings Ryan, and Sasha amasses. Abrupt Decay destroys Plagon, and Ryan moves to his extra turn. Ryan draws, takes no actions, and passes. During his upkeep, Micah lets his Remora die. During his draw step, he takes a damage to his Mana Vault. In his main phase, he plays a Scalding Tarn. He casts Flesh Duplicate, letting Corey draw through Rhystic. Bowmasters triggers, and Sasha knows what Micah is about to clone. So Sasha has Bowmasters kill itself, and she amasses. Then Flesh Duplicate enters as a copy of Opposition Agent. Micah taps Ancient Tomb to help cast an Arcane Signet, letting Sasha and Corey draw. He casts Talisman of Progress, letting them both draw again. He passes, discarding to hand size. Corey draws and plays a Bayou. He passes, discarding to hand size. During her upkeep, Sasha pays to keep her Remora. She draws and casts Rite of Flame, letting Corey draw. She adds 2 red. She taps Ancient Tomb to help cast Yawgmoth's Will, and Corey draws again. In response, Corey casts Force of Vigor, exiling a green card, targeting Arcane Signet and Mystic Remora. Remora triggers, and in response, Corey flashes in a Fairy Mastermind. Sasha draws through Mystic, then Force resolves, destroying Signet and Remora. Still in response to Yawgmoth's Will, Corey casts Force of Negation, exiling a blue card, countering and exiling Yawgmoth's Will. Next, Sasha casts Deadly Relic for its alternate cost, targeting Shield Sphere and letting Corey draw. Shield Sphere is exiled, and Sasha casts Warrior's Oath. Rhystic triggers, and Corey draws a card. Oath resolves, and Sasha gets an extra turn. She casts Time Twister, not paying for Rhystic. In response, Corey casts Mindbreak Trap for its alternate cost, exiling Time Twister. Sasha moves to combat and attacks Micah with the army, and Corey with Silas. Micah dies, and Corey takes 2. Sasha moves to her extra turn. Sasha draws and taps Ancient Tomb to help dash in a Ragavan, paying for Rhystic. She moves to combat and attacks Ryan with Ragavan and Silas, and Corey with the army. In response, Corey casts Demonic Consultation, naming Deadly Relic as it resolves. He exiles, and exiles all but the last 2 cards of his library when he exiles Rollick, putting it into his hand. He taps Ancient Tomb to hardcast Deadly Rollick, exiling the army. Then Ryan takes the hit and dies. In her second main phase, Sasha casts Gamble, letting Corey draw. She fetches up a card into her hand and randomly discards a Bloodstained Mire. She casts Underworld Breach, not paying for Rhystic. Corey draws the last card in his library and taps his City of Brass to cast Swan Song, targeting Underworld Breach. The table absolutely erupts. Swan Song counters Breach, and Sasha creates a bird. With her win attempt countered, she moves to her end step, Warrior's Oath triggers, and Sasha loses the game. With no cards left in his library and no other opponents still left alive, Corey wins the game. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my god. The most valuable card in tonight's game, sponsored by Luxury Playstyle, goes to Orcish Bowmasters. In games with draw engines like the one we saw tonight, this card goes from a nuisance to a potential alternate win condition. It spiraled out of control very quickly tonight, throwing 2 and 3 damage around with every single spell cast. It almost single-handedly killed Ryan and Micah, and would have killed Corey too if it had not been for the timely removal spell. It is one of the strongest cards in the current meta landscape. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode. Tune in next time when we duke it out to see who will be king of the competitive EDH table. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.